A very warm welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good, my dear friends. Today I have got a very important special topic for you guys. It's on electronic vehicles. But before that, let me talk with you guys about this big Diwali sale that is on 60% off is available on our pen drive and Android courses. The last date for this 60% off is 10th November, so make the most out of it today. If you want to know more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. If you have any question or queries, feel free and give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. Now, on your screen, you can see a car. The name of this car is Model T. It was a car from this company called Ford. This was the first car in the world that was made in factory. Mass production came into existence because of this Model T, and it was Henry Ford, the owner of this Ford company, who came out with this idea of mass production. It's also known as inline production. So this was a big revolution at that point of time. But the big problem with this car, if we compare it with today's car, then it was its fuel tank. This fuel tank used to be there underneath your passenger seat. So every time you want to fill up your car with fuel, you have to remove this seat, and then you have to fill up petrol or fuel. And it was not that easy. It was messy, it was inefficient, and ultimately it was untenable as well. So things were not up to date. If we go back some 110 years back in time, Ford company started selling Model T in the year of 1908, and Model T played a very important role in development of petrol pumps as well in USA. By 1912, this system had largely given away to pumps set up on sidewalks by small entrepreneurs, because at that point of time very few people were owning this Model T car or cars in general. So fuel was not that easily available. So this small traders, small entrepreneurs, what they started doing was they started purchasing oil from wholesalers, and oil was available at that point of time. When I say oil, I'm talking about fuel. So it was available, but it was predominantly used in factories. So this small entrepreneurs, they started purchasing fuel from wholesalers, and they started selling it for in retail for this car owners. And car owners, they used to chat with each other, and there was a sort of club like thing where they used to exchange information about where they can get fuel in which part of the country or which part of their city and things like that. So it was not that okay if you compare it with today's situation, but again, we are talking about somewhat 100 years ago, right? Situation was quite different at that point of time. One thing that was smartly executed by these small entrepreneurs was that they used to have this ad hoc standardized nozzles, right? So you can use the same pipe was used to fill up your various different cars that were available at that point of time. And when this in 1908, when this Model T was launched, after that this car market was dominated by this Model T. Only black color was available, and Henry Ford used to say this thing that you can get any color you like as far as it is black. That means because there was only one seller and many buyers, so the only option for buyers or customers was black color. That was possible at that point of time because that this was the first car that was produced in a factory. So anyways, things were like situation was like this as we have described or learned here. So standardized nozzle played a very important role at that point of time, but again, it was a bit messy. It was a big headache to top up your fuel tank. Later on, these big companies, they realized one thing. They learned a lesson, and the lesson was that that if they want to sell more oil, if they want to increase their profit, if they want to cover a market, if they want to make if they want to expand their business and things like that, so it was very important that fuel was very easily available, particularly for these car owners. And if availability of fuel is made a bit easier, then this will create a sense of confidence, and it will give this comfy feeling to these car owners that they can easily get fuel anywhere they like. And the more confidence or this comfortable this comfy feeling they have, these car owners or potential car owners, they will be pulled, and it will work like a pull factor for them as well to change or to upgrade themselves from these horse buggies or horse carts and buggies that were quite quite visible on roads at that point of time, some 100 years ago. As per a book called Filler Up, The Great American Gas Station, between 1909 to 1918, we are talking about some 10 years period, one decade. In this decade, in 1909, there were 312,000 cars approx on American roads, but in 10 years, it was 6.2 million. We are talking about what, 62 million cars, right, in just 10 years. So it was a big boom for car industry. At the same time, it was a big boom for petrol stations as well, petrol pumps too. So if we compare this evolution with current state of display for electric vehicle charges, then we find that this is the big problem here that we are finding at present in our country, or as a matter of fact in any other part of the world. At present, the thing that we don't have is electric vehicle chargers or electric stations, if we can call it, if we can call them recharge stations or electric vehicle charger points, whatever. So we don't have that setup. We don't have this ecosystem, and this is one of the main reason why people are not that much comfortable, or they are a bit skeptical about electronic vehicles. Remember, at that point of time, horse carts and other things, these buggies were a big headache. Lack of speed. Speed was not that good. Then distance that you can cover was also not that far. You need to give a proper rest to your horse as well. So all these things were a big limitation on transportation as well as in commuting from one place to another. But after this introduction of car and expansion of petrol station, this range of our mobility increased drastically, and petrol stations and this mechanical or this mechanized cars played a very important role. Now, in the early years, the gas station industry was racing to keep up with the rapidly growing auto industry. The dynamic of electric car recharging industry is almost the opposite. The thing is, we have to set up this recharging industry if we want to see a boom in electronic vehicles. If we can do it, then we can. It will be altogether a new business for these petrol stations, as well as it will also help in you can say a rapid expansion of electronic vehicles as well. A lot of people like this idea. You and I will go ahead with this environmental friendly electronic vehicles, but the only thing that is holding us back is like this inconvenience that we face, or we don't have this this electronic cars. They don't allow us to go anywhere we like compared to diesel and petrol vehicles. The second issue with electronic vehicle is standardization. This is a big issue that we are facing at present, because all those companies who are engaged in this electronic vehicles, they are mostly working in silos. The big example is Tesla. On your screen, you have one of the best known electric car in the market, in the world, right, at present. But the company has created a charger that can be used only with Tesla cars or Tesla autos. So if you want to charge your car in your home or your garage, then that's okay, right? But if you are thinking to recharge your car from your office or from somewhere else, then that's going to be a bit of problem. You won't find charging stations that easily in USA, and we are talking about USA because USA is quite a bit of mature or number one market as far as electronic vehicles are concerned. Now Tesla is claiming that they have got some 1,359 charging stations in different parts of USA, but if you compare this with 1,15,000 petrol stations, right, then that is nothing at all. We have one person expert on this electronic vehicle industry, Chris Nelda. He works for this Rocky Mountain Institute, and as per Chris, there is a company of Volkswagen, Electrify America. This Electrify America is setting up various different charging stations in various different parts of USA, but They will be alright. These stations will help you with other cars, but not with Tesla. And remember, at present Tesla is the best car that is available out there. So this is the reason, right? Lack of standardization. We can see here that Volkswagen is setting up power stations, but it's not going to be compatible with Tesla, and Tesla is having a sort of unique charger that can be used for Tesla cars only. So that's going to create lots and lots of problem. So for now, at least, it won't be easy finding petrol station. Each company has a different app showing its locations as well. So if you are a EV owner, then you have to go through 5-6 different apps, and then you can find the nearest station. Every app is showing you different its own or different charging stations. So this is a big headache as well. Nelda also says that this example of gas station is a lesson for car industry or for electronic vehicle industry, as well as this big companies who are at present in business of petrol pumps. What they can learn from the experience of past is that first, at that point of time, horse was a big headache, car was a big upgrade. At present, people, car or vehicle, two-wheeler or four-wheeler is not a big thing or a big deal for most of the people. But if you want to create this pull factor, then you have to set up this recharge stations, just like gas stations that are easily available in our country, say for example. Now these big companies, they have big money, they have plenty of money, they have this national infrastructure as well. They don't have to create, I strongly believe that they don't need to create new infrastructure. Of course, they will require a little bit of changes here and there, but they have this petrol pumps, and the same petrol pumps can be used for charging electric vehicles, right? We can set up this charging ecosystem over there, and electricity for that, they don't have to, they use electricity anyway, so they can get some extra supply of electricity from electricity supplying companies or discoms, and they can set up this this infrastructure. So they will not, by doing this, we are basically eliminating this friction that we may face. If you just imagine, if you have independent company trying to set up some charging stations at various different points, so they are going to face some sort of friction from this conventional fuel companies. But if fuel companies are supplying this sort of, or if they are setting up this sort of petrol station or this electricity vehicle or electric vehicle recharge stations, then they are not going to face the friction. In fact, they are going to make profits as well out of this thing. So that's a thing that they need to do, and the vast majority of trips at present, right, generally speaking, they don't require that sort of frequent charging or recharging, and things will change as battery technology improves. But still, we have this lack of confidence, or this range anxiety is still visible in people who are using or owning electric vehicle. Range anxiety means if you want to travel some 200 kilometers, if you know that in one recharge your car will run for 210 kilometers, then you will not go with your electric vehicle. You will go with your traditional vehicle only, or conventional vehicle. But if in one recharge, or if you know that your car can, in one shot, it can go for 210 kilometers, but in this 210 kilometers you will find at least 5 EV charging stations, then you will go with your electric vehicle. Isn't it simple as that? So this is a very important thing that that this industry has to understand, that those days are gone when cars were introduced first, and then this petrol stations came in. Now we need this charging points first, and this will help us. It's going to be other way around. So we need more charging stations, and this will boost electronic vehicles. One similarity that we find is that a century ago the car industry had to have a national network of gas stations before it could truly thrive, and same thing applies to electric vehicles as well. So that's everything in today's special topic, dear friends. I believe that with the help of this topic, it was a bit difficult to explain. Difficult in the sense we have to rely on our imagination, isn't it? Because this is something that we haven't seen, and the things, or this inception or introduction or this birth of Model T, and after that this power stations and everything. So it was power station. When I say, I'm talking about these fuel stations, right? Petrol pumps. So it was something that we haven't seen, right? So It was a bit difficult or challenging in that sense, but I have tried my level best to present this example in front of you. And I strongly believe that if you find an essay on electronic vehicles or issues with electronic vehicles, or what are the things that we need to do, solutions for electronic vehicles, then of course you have more R&D on batteries and solar and other things, renewable energy and other things. But with that, you have to keep in mind that this is one of the most important point, that without this ecosystem, we are not going to find electronic vehicles on our road, because people will be a bit skeptical about using them. Now, Prime Minister's office, we have got this news item from PM of our country. Prime Minister Modi launched the support and outreach program for micro, small and medium enterprises in New Delhi. Basically, the good thing about this new program, or this support and outreach program, is that within 59 minutes, so less than 1 hour, your loan of 1 crore rupee for your MSME, for micro, small and medium enterprises, will be sanctioned. So you provide all necessary documents, everything, right, your business plan and everything, and within 1 hour you will get a final decision whether you will get a loan, whether you will not get it, whether, why you won't get it, and if you will get it, then how much amount you will get in this sanctioned loan. So that's a big relief for MSMEs. With big companies, they don't have this issue. In fact, when it comes to big companies like Reliance or Tata's or other big companies, right, the bank will approach them for giving out a loan. But for micro, small and medium enterprises, they have to knock the doors of various different banks, and they have to go through so many procedures, and most of the time, particularly for micro and small businesses, it becomes very difficult for them to get a loan. And then they are left with no option but to go ahead with a private money lender. That private money lender will charge a sort of higher rate of interest. So when small companies are paying, micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, when they are paying higher rate of interest, that means that their profits are coming down. They have to give that much from their profits, and if they are earning less, then they cannot recruit many people, they cannot expand their business. So it's not just about this 59 minutes, it's about the ripple effect that it will create in the market. That's the most exciting thing about this support and outreach program. The Prime Minister said that every GST registered MSME will be given a rebate of 2% interest on the amount of a new loan or incremental loan up to 1 crore rupee. So 2% interest rebate means if you are, say for example, getting a loan at 8%, then you have to pay for only 6% if your MSME is a GST registered MSME. So that's the most important point. With this, government will earn extra GST as well. So it's going to be win-win for government as well as for MSME owners. Now, Mr. Modi also announced that government has also decided to increase interest subvention on pre and post shipment credit for exports by MSMEs from 3% to 5%. So interest subvention here means, earlier on, say for example, if you are paying interest at the rate of 10% and subvention was 3%, so 3% was you can say was the load of 3% was taken by the government, but now it is 5%. So if you are paying 10%, then you have to pay 5%. 5% will be contributed by the government of India. So that's a big news for this pre and post industry, or this shipment credit for exporters by MSME, exports by MSME. Prime Minister also talked about this rank of India. We are at present at 77th rank, or 77th position as far as ease of doing business index is concerned. Last year we were at 100, so we have jumped about 23 spots, and we are at 77. So that's a big cheer as well for our country. Mr. Modi also added that India has earned this status of economic powerhouse because of micro, small and medium enterprises. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that 6.5 crore MSME units are there in our country, India, and this 6.5 crore MSME units are employing 11 crore people. As far as manufacturing is concerned, the biggest employer is this MSME sector, right? And not the big companies, not the big giant companies, right? It is the small companies, manufacturing companies. They are providing jobs to maximum people in this secondary sector. of economy. Finance Minister also said that India will continue as the fastest growing economy in coming years, and size of economy will grow further too. President of World Bank Jim Yong Kim had a telephonic conversation with our Prime Minister, and Mr. Kim congratulated Prime Minister for India's historic rise in ease of doing business ranking or index. As I told you that we are at rank 77 at present. Our dream is to see ourselves under below rank 50, you know, somewhere between 1 to 50, and I'm sure if we once we enter this top 50 club, then our next target will be top 20 and later on top 10 or maybe top 5 as well. Who knows? We can achieve this thing because in last just 4 years we have jumped 65 ranks. We were somewhere at 142, 143, and in 4 years we are at 77. So that's going to provide a sort of boost to the sentiments of investors and manufacturers in our country. Vice President's Secretariat has got news for us. Vice President was on this 3-nation visit of African continent. On his first leg, he visited Botswana. And good news from Botswana is that Botswana has decided that it is going to join International Solar Alliance. Now, on this International Solar Alliance, we have talked many things about it. ISA, right? I gave you this example of OPEC group. At present, it is a very dominating group. This group is deciding the price as well as the quantity of supply of fuel in the market. But the more we are tilting towards renewable energy, and International Solar Alliance will play a very important role in promotion of production of this renewable energy, particularly solar energy. So gradually we will see that the power will shift from OPEC nations towards International Solar Alliance, and International Solar Alliance is going to be a very important group of future. And luckily, India is founding member of ISA, so that's going to be a big advantage for us. This is a matter of pride as well as privilege that many various different countries are ready to join this ISA, and Botswana is the latest nation who has decided to join this ISA. The second leg, our Vice President was in Zimbabwe, and we have signed 6 agreements in various different fields, including mining, visa waiver, broadcasting and culture. India will extend line of credits of more than $350 million to Zimbabwe for 2 power projects and drinking water project. And Vice President was in Harare, that is capital of Zimbabwe, on the second leg of his 3-nation Africa visit to Botswana. He has done with Botswana, Zimbabwe nearly done, and then the last leg will be Malawi, again a country of Africa. So that's everything, dear friends, in today's discussion. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle. I was busy with some lectures, so I was not able to get in touch with you guys. I tried my level best to bring out this lecture on 2nd and again on 3rd, but I was not able to do it. So I decided that finally I will release this thing on Monday, and that is today. So tomorrow, that is 6th November, I will bring PIB of 5th and 6th November together. On 4th it was Sunday, so on Sundays you don't get PIBs, and on bank holidays, that is I think it's on New Year's Day, so on that day as well there will be no PIB. So just keep this thing in mind. And that's everything in today's discussion. Right, enjoy your Diwali, be safe, and make sure you make the most out of this 60% discount that is available. It's now or never, right? Only once a year you get this chance to get our pen drive and tablet courses at this price. So any question or queries, I have provided you the numbers. Feel free and give us a call. In case if you are finding any troubles, then get in touch with me via FB page, or predominantly FB page, or secondary is the second priority should be given to Twitter, right? So that's everything. God bless you all. Jai Hind.